A priest is trying to punish God for the death of his sister. He is getting ready to burn down the church when supernatural forces start to torture him. Father Gabriel was a man possessed. Not by any demon, but by an all-consuming rage. His eyes burned with the fires of vengeance, as he prepared to punish the one he held responsible for his sister's death, God himself. He had always been a man of great faith, but now that faith had turned to doubt, hope to despair. How could a benevolent God allow such tragedy to befall his family? He didn't believe in an afterlife. He didn't believe in miracles. Most of all, he didn't believe in God. He stood in the center of the church. A 50-foot flame engulfed the building behind him. He looked up at the stained glass windows depicting the very tragedies he had suffered: the death of his parents, the loss of his sister, the pain of his parishioners. All of it was a mockery, a cruel joke played by a deity he no longer worshipped. As the fire raged, Father Gabriel began his descent into madness. The flames danced around him, casting grotesque shadows on the walls as he spoke. I was once a man of the cloth, a servant of the Lord. But what has my God given me in return? The love of a dead woman? The embrace of a cold grave? No, this is not God's house. It is mine. And I will show you, God, that even miracles can be undone. With shaking hands, he poured gasoline over the altar, a deranged smile on his face. This was it. The culmination of his grief, the apotheosis of his pain. This was where he would finally be free. Free from the burden of his sister's memory, free from the expectations of his faith, and free from the love of a God who had forsaken him. But just as he was about to light the match that would consume everything, a voice echoed through the church. It was the voice of God, booming and ethereal, shaking the very foundations of the building. Gabriel, is this the thanks I receive for my service? Are these the fruits of my sacrifice? The flames roared in response, but the voice continued, growing in intensity. You would abandon everything I have given you, your faith, your hope, your very soul, for what? A hollowed-out shell of your former self, consumed by vengeance and despair? Is this the legacy you wish to leave behind? A life of fire and brimstone? Very well then, let it be so. And with that, the voice was gone, leaving only the sound of the crackling fire and the heavy breathing of the priest. Suddenly, the flames around him grew, reaching out like grasping claws. Father Gabriel screamed in terror as they wrapped around him, pulling him towards the inferno. Then, just as suddenly, everything went black. When he awoke, he found himself in the same church, the fire long extinguished, only the smell of smoke remaining. But something was different. The paintings on the walls were gone, the pews were overturned, and the stained glass windows were shattered. In their place were gaping holes, as if the building had been struck by lightning. And in the center of it all stood Father Gabriel, naked and alone, his body covered in the ashes of his former life. The voice of God boomed once more. So be it then, Gabriel. Let the punishment fit the crime.